What's
Welcome
happening?
back to a Celtic State of Mind. I'm Paul John Dykes. I'm joined tonight by Chris McElwain and Kevin McCluskey. Celtic puts a wee smile on your face, Chris, even if you're playing at home against the side who, incidentally, are top six. Falkirk newly promoted to the Scottish Premiership. But there's an energy, isn't there? There's a momentum. This is what we were talking about, Chris. And we got it in the first 45. How happy have you been?
Very. That's the most I've enjoyed a first half of football, I think, this season. I really enjoyed watching it. I was kind of gutted that the half ended when it did. Look, yeah, initially, again, I think we were a wee bit trepidatious, took a wee 5-10 minutes to get going. But the one thing that was immediately noticeable is that the speed, the pace of the pace of trying to get the ball forward, I think, was vastly improved from what we've seen this season. And I think from there, the horseshoe-shaped shackles came off. And what I really liked is the players look like they've been unleashed a little bit. And I wonder if it's just been as simple, without obviously, having insight. I wonder if it's been as simple as, the management team just saying, look, just go out there and show what you can do. All right? Don't overthink it. Don't overplay it. Don't feel restricted. Go and show what you can do. Because you look at players like Tenekti, you look at players like Sirachi, the partnership they seem to have built up in that first half, overlaps, quick movement, give and goes, fantastic. You look at Benjamin Egrin, who I think has been outstanding and very unlucky he's not got a hat-trick already. He's been involved in everything, and he's playing like Tom Rogic at the moment. He's drawing players in, he's using his feet to shift the ball quickly, he's drawing fouls, he's keeping things moving, really showing that invention. James Forrest looks 5 years younger. He's taking men on. He's going on the outside. He's taking men on. He's putting crosses in. And actually, crosses which are very close to finding the man. And initially, I thought, Kenny, who has led the line, I think, superbly well throughout the match. Initially, the ball comes through to him. It bounces off his legs. You're thinking, oh, God, he's just lacking that bit of quality. Well, actually, I think he's been excellent in that half. I think he's still trying to find his feet. I think he's still trying to find his sharpness, but he's been a predator in the box tonight, aided with some very, very good build-up play. And the one last point I want to make, yeah, absolutely, a predator. But the one last point I want to make is really strong, a strong leader-type performance at the back from Austin Trusty. I think he's been excellent. I think he's read the game well, showed a bit of aggression. He looks up for it. It's been great. It's been a really, really good performance. Not been perfect. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Work to be done. Still don't think the system and the formation necessarily is the best way to go, but the attitude and the application tonight has been excellent.
The thing is, though, Chris, you can think back. Sorry, my microphone's way over here. Let's bring it back in. You can think back to a time where it really was all about players expressing themselves and playing with a tempo and an energy and momentum, enjoying their football. And then you can tweak the shape to suit in many, many ways. But it's kind of going full circle where all the shape and the structure and, everything being so processed has become key, and then all the other stuff has to be secondary. Tonight, it's not really been about that. And I remember the Oracle, the OG, Jim Orr telling me the other week there, don't get too excited about a win in Europe. I'm getting excited whenever I see Celtic playing well, and I'm not going to get to the point where I go OTT on that. The horseshoe of death, has it gone? Let's talk about Johnny Kenny first. Lots of comments coming in. I was sharing them just as you were talking there, Chris. But Johnny Kenny, we'll start off with him first. He's found himself in a position here, Kev, where he's the first choice. And he's the first choice through default. And, a lot of times that happens where you've just got to step up. There's nobody else there to do the job. And Johnny Kenny, I have admired his testicular fortitude, mental fortitude to basically be thrown in the scrap heap and come back. That's very difficult for any player to do that. Scales, he's done that. Obviously, away to Aberdeen, we thought that was where he was going to be. That was going to be his destination. Kenny, a couple of loan deals out to Queen's Park and Shamrock Rovers. He's come back, and even when he's come back, Kev, he's been criticised. I've criticised him. And I think when we've seen him playing against Sturm Graz, when he comes on for Tunecki after the early injury, he gets 90 minutes in his legs. he was full of endeavour. He was full of running, and he presses and he does all that side of the game. And I just kept saying there was just that lack of quality in the final third. Well, he scored a couple of goals in the first half. He's on his way for a hat-trick, proving me and many others wrong, Kev.
Yeah, and long may it continue. I'm disappointed that you've ended it on that comment that proving you wrong, because I was just, as Chris was talking there about the performance in the first half, I think I agree with everything you were saying there, Chris, about the tempo being so much better, the urgency, the energy, the fact that we've got wingers that are winging, hitting the byline, putting it in.
Wingery wingers.
That's yours. That's a t-shirt.
Right.
That's yours. That's your slogan.
No,
Wingers going to be winging.
That's an Ian Conroy one. I've stolen that from the chat. That's his line. So I'll pass the credit there. But no, like, we've got players that are doing what they should be doing. We've been more direct. This has been a first half performance that the three of us and Sean and other folks have been sitting here on match day shows since Munich, saying this is what we need to do. So sometimes us podcasters do know what we're talking about a wee bit. We've been watching the games for long enough. We've been seeing what's been going wrong, and here's how to make it right. It's Casper getting the ball, and instead of playing the short pass out every time to his centre back, he's been pinging it out to the halfway line to his full back. We've been cutting out 4 or 5 passes by doing that because we're being a bit more direct. There's the chance Forrest has when I think it goes Kenny, one touch pass into Engels, one touch pass back into Forrest, and the shot saved. It's just pass. It's brilliant to watch. This is Celtic, right? This is, if you talk about a Celtic way of playing, I think this is it. It's fast, it's frenetic, it's direct, and we're causing loads and loads of problems today. I've done that thing that I always do, though, where I've rambled on about something else, which isn't the question that Paul asked me. But what you asked me was about Johnny Kenny. And I think he has today, anyway, proven a lot of people wrong because he's got those 2 goals. He's proven a lot of people right, because I think there's been folk that have actually kind of backed him and defended him. And for me, I've probably been one that's, I'd say, give him a chance at certain times, but I've never had a great deal of hope in him, if I'm being perfectly honest. But that game against Sturm Graz was one that began to turn the tide for me, because although he missed 3 pretty good chances, he could have had a hat-trick in that game, he was there to miss the chances. And I think first and foremost, as a striker, that's where you should be, is in position to score. Then it's up to you to put the ball in the back of the net, and he lacked the composure that night. I think he was too keen and eager to score a meaningful goal at Celtic Park, because I think he's only scored once at Celtic Park before, and it was maybe the 3rd or 4th goal in a game. It would have been a really meaningful goal if he'd hit one against Sturm Graz. I hope today, the fact that he's got that first goal and now the second, that's a monkey off his back. And we're a big bunch of happy clappers, but who cares? Let us be that today. But yeah, I think now he's got that monkey off his back. Maybe, actually, if he continues to get himself into the right positions, and it looks like we're going to feed him, or whoever the centre forward is, we're going to feed them with the service a lot quicker than we have been before, then chances will keep on coming. If he's there, he now looks as if he's someone that could put the ball away in the back of the net. I don't want that to sound too positively knee-jerk. It's only been 45 minutes. I'm now not saying he's a world beater, but I'm now looking at him with a bit more confidence than maybe I did 2-3 weeks ago.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know this, Kev, and I keep saying this, you made a point there about podcasters. We get all this all the time. The pesky podcasters, who do you think you are? You don't speak for me. No, we don't. But we have opinions just like everybody else. We try and bring as many of the comments in as possible. And I think the great thing about having a show like a Celtic State of Mind, particularly in the match day, is the amount of comments that come in. You're talking 1,000 or 2,000 across the live streams and the post match, and you get a good section, a cross section of views of the Celtic support. And whilst I would never try to speak for every Celtic fan, because that's impossible. I think you got a good sense of feeling when it comes to certain players and performances. I'm going to bring in some of these thoughts coming through. You don't know Kenny, says GK. I thought I'd bring that one back up. Well, I'm liking what I'm seeing, and I'm hoping to get him to know him a wee bit better, GK. We've also got this one: get Nygren off and get anyone else. Come on, Pete. This is a non-negativity zone this evening. I'll say one thing about Nygren.
He's a man who's got 2 assists against his name.
He's got 2 assists tonight.
Keep him on.
He seems to be one of the types of players, lads, that misses a few chances. You know, when he scored last week, he had missed 3. He'd missed one just before he scored the goal against Sturm Graz. He misses a few chances, and he's missed 3 tonight. But as you say, Kev, he's got 2 goals, 2 goal contributions rather to his name this evening. And Chris, I think there's a bit of a freedom about him tonight. He's making, you know, his way across the park. He's not stuck on that right wing. There's more of a freedom, I think, about it. Look, you see Sriracha bombing down that left wing at one moment, and I'm thinking to myself, what a pace he's got. Unbelievable. Him and Chuneki linking up. There's a freedom this evening, and I think Nygren, actually, I disagree with the commenter, because that's okay to do that. I think Nygren, other than the chances missed, has played well.
I would agree with you. I can't really point to a poor performance across the park, actually, for Celtic. And look, you're up against John McGlynn's side, which is, you know, drilled ridiculously to be so disciplined and aggressive in their play, and they're very, very good at it, and they're a tough opposition, so make no mistake. I appreciate we don't want to get ahead of ourselves. It's 45 minutes of football under a new management team. You know, weekend will be a different proposition. Games going forward in Europe will be a different proposition. You know, and one of the challenges will be keeping up this level of performance that we've seen this half. But I think you're right. I think, you know, is that must be one of the best skills of a manager, to just take a group of individual players and say, look, just go out there and show what you can do. And it always takes me back to a player from Martin O'Neill's first era, and listening to him. And it was an old treble DVD in that 2000 season. It was Bobby Petta. And the direct quote that came from Bobby Petta, he said, Martin O'Neill, the manager came in, he says, he just told me to go and show what I can do. He just said, that was it. He said, just told me, go out there and show what you can do. He didn't tell me what to do. He said, you should know what to do. He said, just go out there and show you what you can do. When I'm watching players like Tonekte, Nygren, Sriracha, you almost can hear that Martin O'Neill pep talk saying, just go and show what you can do. And I think that's what we're doing tonight. I think players look like they're playing with freedom. They're playing without fear. They're playing without a million different instructions going through their head. You know, and even when you see 2 of our players bumping into each other in the box because they're both trying to get to the ball to score, I don't mind that, because I want to see that kind of attitude. I want every player in there trying to get on the end of the ball and try and score. Yes, we want a bit of discipline about what we do. We want the guys to maintain a wee bit of positional integrity, but go and win the game. And that is what we're doing. And we talk about chances being missed. Well, do you know why we're noticing chances being missed? Because we're creating chances. Something we have not seen enough of this season. We are creating chance after chance. I can count maybe 1-2 chances that Falkirk's had. You know, credit to Schmeichel, he's been pretty solid in between sticks as well. But other than that, it's been bombardment from our side, and it's been great to watch. So yeah, really, really pleased, and long may it continue.
32 minutes in, Casper saves. That would be a good t-shirt as well.
That's on a t-shirt somewhere.
Absolutely right. We've got Paul Maguire. We should be signing Sriracha. Listen, he has looked good actually since he's come in, and he's in this evening, and he's bombing up and down that left wing. He's got some amount of pace on him. He's very much an offensive player. Let's have a look at the other scores on the doors. We are sitting in a situation at the moment where Celtic are 6 points behind top-placed Hearts, and between third-placed Rangers and 11th placed Dundee, there are the same amount of points deficit. So 6 points from third place to 11th place. 6 points from second to first. The other scores this evening, of course, Celtic 2, Falkirk 0, Hibs 0, Rangers 1 at half-time, Kilmarnock 0, Aberdeen 1, and Motherwell 1, Dundee United 0, and St Mirren 1, Hearts 1. St Mirren were leading, and Hearts have equalised at half-time. So we've clawed back, sitting here at half-time, a couple of points, hopefully. Things go our way elsewhere. Let's go back to the action. Thank you, every single one of you. Join us at full-time. Thank you to Chris McElwain and Kevin McCluskey on A Celtic State of Mind.
On the hips, Martin O'Neill.